Hello and welcome all. The session you are about to witness through this YouTube video is the teaser session of our Summer School 2025, which is going to be hosted by us in Kashmir. Uh, this video dives deeper into the fundamental work, the base work, the field work, the inquiries we have already done on the site in the preparation of the summer school. Our mentor, Professor Akshay Kaul, throws it on his engagement with the Kashmir Valley and also the base work which we have prepared for the summer school. The intent of this video is to actually give you a glimpse of the work which we have done and also to engage with you in form of collaborations and participation in the summer school. If you're interested, there are few links in the description of this video. The links are for the detailed summer school brief. The link is also there to join us as Muddy Buddy. And more importantly, for this session, there is also a link for application for the summer school.
And the idea is that we have been doing the summer schools for a long time all over the country. We did the last one was in 2017, which we did with a bunch of students from Dehradun and from Jammu and Kashmir. There were 5 students from DIT, and the other 5 were also from DIT, but they were all Kashmiris. So we put them all together, and the outcome is almost in form of book yet to be published. Everything is done. So what I'll do today is to share with you what we have been doing over the years in Kashmir, but just a fragment of that we'll be sharing with you. So the first half of the summer school will focus on Pulwama, and the second half of the summer school will focus on Budgam, and you're welcome to join both, either of them. So this was in Aru Pahalgam, and 10 people were there. And you can see some of the field work, meeting every single person in the town, in the village, And our students, as you can see, documenting, and here the community meetings on what we wanted to do. And we documented the place through different seasons. And I took all the documentation later that we did in 5 days into the design studio at DIT, which I conducted. And then after the studio was over, I brought all the work to my office. And for 1 year, we worked on it to co-create a book. So a lot of this documentation through the year gives you perspective. One season document does not really give you the real perspective. So we met all the stakeholders, and these were some of the works, the maps that I'm just showing you a little bit of it. So we do this for every single project in our office, no matter what the scale is, mapping how the streams work, move, the watershed, and these were some other maps of the different types of open spaces and the documentation. We created a land use map. These maps are all created from primary source of data in the field. Land ownership map. So these are some of the things that we'll be creating. And riverine ecology, what is happening along the flood plains and the edges of the river. Same with the streams and tributaries that feed into the river system. And then documenting the infrastructure of the town. How waste is managed. We go into extensive detail as well because we then projectized it. Each house, you can see the amount of solid waste, other places, how the solid waste generated, total, and then what is it that we can do with it. Same with risk mitigation, building assessment, and we went into a lot of details. For the documentation of each and every house, and possibly what is it that we can do with them. Our whole idea of doing any of these projects is what is it that we can make out of it? The idea is how do we improve the lives of people? That is, we are completely people and place centric, not tourist centric, you know, and the income generation should actually get equally distributed along all the strata of the society in the cross section, not just to some people. So that social injustices we are very aware of, and so that is an aspect of it. Existing houses were documented, as you can see, these 5, 10, we picked them up. What is it that we can do with them? Building materiality, these are models that were made. They were supposed to be exhibited, they were like 20 can do with the shops, before, after, turn them into a place. So all explorations. So what can you do with agro horticulture? How can you rebrand, repackage all of that? So we did a lot of that. The idea is that even through small initiatives, once we know what a place has as input, and then the output can be prepared accordingly. So the idea is to introduce people to a people-centric, livelihood-based, bottom-up kind of a planning approach. There was a government scheme of 1 lakh rupees to Gujars, and we looked at the houses in that locality and wondered how to improve that. As you just saw, some of you just saw how the film got made. A lot of this data is on my blog, and we have been concerned about the shrinking wetlands, the floods in Kashmir, and this is what they were talking about. In 100 years, more than 50% of the data has vanished. I mean, the more than 50% of the wetlands have vanished. And the lake system is fragmented. And you just saw this, so I will not show it again. I've posted the link in the uh, chat box. We were re-examining the context of Kashmir. This is the Brari number lake. If we can bring back the water from the Dal into the overflow, this is hardly a lake anymore. This is more of a marsh, um, with. So we wanted to see if this is where the uh, road has been made on top of the where once the river moved, the water overflowed from the lake into the river. Now it's covered with road, and we were examining possibilities of redesigning that system, almost like Venice, which is what Kashmir was at one point of time. And so we re-examined all of this. And as you can see, we had proposed for smart city, not what you see in Srinagar today. So it was a comprehensive project. It is not about improving the paving or the roads. There's no point doing it from my perspective unless the whole lake ecology is improved and everything around its context. Then, so this is what we are proposing to do. This was proposed for Pulwama, one of the stream corridors near the bus stand. It's not beautification, it is cleaning and restoring. And what you see is this is typical of every city, every town in India. All the waste goes directly. So these, we will be looking at all of these in the summer school. So we then brought in a pilot scheme to intercept these drains that were going into the river Leather. And we had proposed to connect this and treat it before it went as part of a pilot scheme, which was for, planning in urban areas. What is it that we could do? So re-looking at the silk factory. Then the Amarnath Yatra, we had proposed a green Yatra. And we examined every little settlement that is created along the route from both the sides, Baltal side and Pahalgam side. And questions of, does it have the ecological, these sensitive areas, do they have the carrying capacity? Showing you, this is what I'm showing you is not even 5% of the work that we did. And then came the projects that were to manage the solid waste. This is the Achan landfill site. And in Kashmir is a unique case where everything will percolate into the ground. And so all the water bodies are polluted. It enters the food chain, it enters the human body. And so we brought the first solid waste management conference. Stakeholders are this side, and this side are the um, entrepreneurs, the best ones, and all the best practices that were available in the country. We co-hosted with the government. And you can see that we brought in the best sustainable development capacity building initiatives, the most multidisciplinary conference probably ever that has happened in India. We brought it to Kashmir. We are very keen to work in this because it's not that it is Pulwama we are keen to work. It's just the idea that we might be focusing on creating a vision plan for a constituency on environmental and sustainability and livelihood issues integrated as partnering all across the country. These are some of the words that came up after visiting Pulwama in April. And before visiting Pulwama in April, since the elections, we were in touch with. So our idea is to understand certain things, map the strengths of the people, uh, understand the landscape character, because the whole character is getting in India. We don't understand this term yet. It's not brought into the practice. It's not a conversational thing. Infrastructure planning, all of these community and sustainable initiatives, that this all of this we want to use to inform the vision for the development of master plan. So our work will not stop with this summer school. It will keep on continuing, uh, and hopefully what we sow as seeds now, it will blossom, if not today then tomorrow. Our whole agenda hence is this very clear: how can master planning, sustainable development initiate economic growth across the cross section of the society? So that is the role we are looking at as planners, sociologists, as architects, not just sitting as architects on the fringe, but actively participating um, in the public realm. So now what we are sharing with you is this is the administrative boundary of Pulwama, a district, and this is the town of Pulwama. And this is the team that has worked, and there have been other people as well. This is the elevational map superimposed on the topography map. And this is trying to understand the streams, how they are moving, and that's Jhelum. And you can see the major tributaries: Leather, Rembiar, Rom. So this is Romshi, this is Rembiar. Watersheds of these within the Pulwama district. This is the land use map. We did that to understand the shifts. This is the superimposition of the contours and the stream corridors. And then we digitized because there's a limit to physically what is it that we can do. So that's the Pulwama town. This side is Srinagar and this side is Shupian. Streams which are on the surface and below the surface. This is the road network along with the town. So you can understand it's just a small linear town. So this is the Google map, and you can see a clearer version of, if it was some other country, this would have become one of the most beautiful places in the world. because we'll come to that. So the idea is to begin to make, because what the language that we talk as planners, designers, environmentalists, people don't know of it. This is the view of the town of Pulwama. The clock tower is coming up in every city in India. While we don't like the Britishers, but the clock tower keeps coming up. So it's it's just about, so there are six things that are common in every town in India. Is the sewage management, solid waste management, stormwater issues, issues of traffic, uh, parking, uh, primarily some of these, and electric poles sticking out anywhere. So these are very simple issues, and these are primarily issues of the municipalities' work. But for the lack of that, people like us have to get into resolving these through planning. So this is the old bus stand area. We'll be looking at it, this part. So we have done a basic 3D modeling towards the preparation of the summer school. This is the old bus town area, and this is the open space. That is the only open space available uh, in the town. 3D model of the same thing. Close-ups. So this is the bus stand, and it's empty now. So what is it that we can give to the city? Can we create, you know, a cultural center or what? But we don't even want to go with any of that preconceived ideas. We want to understand what the place needs, and we want to understand what the people need. And as planners and sociologists and historians, we then want to bring to the table people's aspirations. So these are all 3Ds that we have created. One of the important things that we want to look at for long-term vision is the issue of um, water. And water means wastewater, water means flooding, water means loss of springs, water means drying of our rivers. So that is what all water means. And we are hence looking at geomorphological map. Uh, we are looking at the geological maps and approaching it in a very scientific manner. So, so that was Pulwama, and our team has been working. The two sets of team that has been working, one in our office, one supported by by a few people, and there is this team that is working on ground for almost 1 year, where every single house is mapped. They have met every resident in these three villages. They have documented their names and phone numbers and contacts and profession and amount of solid waste that is generated, livelihood skills, their interest towards organic development and all of that. So this is the town of Kralwari, and this is Dudhganga. It's a simulated 3D. And the story, as I said, it'll all comes down trickling into the Dudhganga. And you can see the story, whether it is Mehroli, whether it's rural Bangalore, it all drains into this. This is the tributary that runs through this. And it will go into the river, Dudhganga. And as the name suggests, it must have been, I have seen it through Usemarg and beyond those areas as a stream wide, and this is what happens, right? And you have all experienced that, not in Srinagar. Our context is Srinagar, but it happens in every city. So can Srinagar become, this approach, can it then be replicated? So this is Dudhganga River. This has been mined. You can see. You can see so much has been mined. Now, by mining, the water table goes down, and once the water table goes down, all the plantation along the edges, they'll die. Now, why aren't people talking about it? And simply people don't know about it. So through these, we are creating for not today, but for next 15 years, youth. We want to energize. We want to make them aware that the place belongs to them, not to some third person in some third country. And if we don't care about our cities, our neighborhoods, our villages and town, who's going to care about them? So you can see the district map of Budgam and the four adjoining districts, and this is Budgam. And these are three villages are situated here in the watershed of Dudhganga. A larger drainage network of the entire Budgam district, and this is the Chadura sub-district in which we are working. Same. Our first point would be, can we rejuvenate our water systems? Can we manage our waste? So some of the work is going on in Budgam area. These are the dam maps for us to understand what is going on in terms of elevation, in terms of topography, in terms of slopes, land uses, land degradation. And this is the mapping of Kralwari, that one you saw, Borwa, and Shopura, which is on two sides. The settlement is on two sides of Dudhganga. So each and every house has been mapped, and we have an Excel sheet where we'll correlate all of this with the map. It's overlaid on the topography that we have generated. So this is 3D modeling that we have done so far. This is Borwa, either side of the settlement. So that's Dudhganga. It's not blue like this. There's, there's no water at times. In fact, today there's no water problem. Shopura. So the idea of the summer school is manifold. And we hope we can make the people realize through this. We hope this becomes model for methodology for working and initiating dialogues, bringing in change, uh, creating awareness, for finding out a model for development ground up for us rather than isolated in a holistic manner. So I think I will stop here.
Because some of you have signed up for our summer school, and some of you are thinking to sign up for that. So, whatever questions, suggestions, complaints you have, this is the platform.
Yeah, I just probably want to firstly congratulate for to the team, to everyone at Trust MUDie to have actually um, kind of gotten data from these very rural areas. And unfortunately, in India, the documentation of rural areas is often missed. Um, Even the fact that when I was also doing my research, I realized that a lot of like government data is this remote sensing based data, which ignores the grains, the rural grains, of it. It completely ignores that. And you know, it's an issue of scale essentially. And I see that you know, you have zoomed to the level where the detail needs to be done, and I think that was really commendable. Um, and I think this was done in a span of like last 6 months, or this was just done in the summer school time. Like I was just curious because there's a lot of work. So um I was curious how long this took, and also the fact that in the process of the summer school, uh in what capacity were the stakeholders involved in the discussion or the discourse? And by stakeholders, I just don't probably mean the community people, but also like you know, the actors, like people acting on these areas, like people who intend to work on these areas. So yeah.
So the first question, the Pulwama one, we have been, you know, when we had a meeting in April, right, Noman?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, 3 nights before that, me and Noman, you know, were working really. No,
Mm,
we first went to Pulwama, and we were there almost for the whole day, literally. And
mm,
we saw the larger context. We saw the immediate context where we were told we could intervene. Then there were
mhm,
hours of meeting with, you know, people who were coming for Eid. Budgam project goes, the team has been working for over a year, almost over a year, in the field collecting the primary data,
mhm.
which, you know, I have been fortunate enough to direct from. It's easy because online you can literally do, I feel like you can literally do anything. Uh, so we were able to do that. But as far
Mm,
as all the data and maps that you're seeing, we have
mhm.
had about like 5 people working on it for about a month now, no month.
Yeah, only a month. And majority of it is open source. So you were correct in saying that like the data which the government projects is somehow not dependable, no? So we have been
Yeah.
through open sources website from the government, and the villages names are not right, and the villages location is not right. Their
Yes.
name,
Yes.
so many things were there. But since we had people on the ground also, and uh, we had people in the office working on that. So and primarily to the question which when you were asking, like how people were engaged in the summer school, this is pre-summer school, the discussion happening. So this is the base
Oh,
work which we have already prepared for the summer school, and we intend to work on it further. So
okay.
the
Okay.
summer school is divided into two parts. Two
Mm,
parts in the sense like there are two sites. So 5 days for Pulwama and 5 days for Budgam. So
right.
a participant can opt for both the schools. The participant can opt for one school, and post the field work, the engagement continues. So if they are willing to give 2 hours or 3 hours of their week to us, so we
Mm,
will have some work done uh, in online mode, and maybe we are in a position after an year when we are well versed with the situation in both the sites, and we have something which is more relevant
mhm.
on paper to be presented to the authorities or to the like implementing agencies out there.
We
And
are
how?
keen to kickstart some of the projects post the
Right.
summer
Right.
school.
Right.
So, you know, we might, for youth motivation, if we find a place in Pulwama, we might do uh, a kind of a small Pulwama Binale, you know,
Mm-hmm.
get the
Yeah.
young artists come up and make expressions. We might get into things like documenting and making a brochure for the historic sites of Pulwama.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we might talk about the agriculture produce of the place. We might document the springs. So
Mhm.
under each of these banners, we want to quick start something.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Durgana.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, like Amrita said, that the fact that this platform exists, I mean, that itself is a very big thing. For example, uh, not even generalizing, just talking about myself, like I having been constantly thinking about such problems existing and then not even knowing even a single platform through which I could contribute in whatever capacity I could. So like I don't know, out of nowhere this post came in my LinkedIn and I was like, okay, let me just because I found a lot of things resonating. So first of all, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for creating the platform which would help students also or people from diverse backgrounds to contribute in whatever way. Also I would like to like you, while you were showing these slides, you just said so there was one thing, the waste management or the trash we see that goes into rivers, and unfortunately this is a very trending thing going in Valley, though no longer pristine rivers over here. They're just full of trash, full of polythene bags. I don't know whatsoever is in fact in Jhelum. So like I'm from district Baramla, and the major part of it, when you reach main town and you see, when I see Jhelum, I can literally see polythene bags floating. And then my parents will say that like some years before this isn't how it was, but then you see a lot of I don't know, it's I mean it's very bad, very pathetic situation. So when you have been like while exploring all these things, the waste management and all, I think there is like you were also mentioning when you pointed to that picture, like our role. So there is a problem of, I think we also lack a lot of, there is no self sensitivity to someone else to do something. First, am I myself doing anything which is worth contributing? So how do you think you would go ahead with things like that when we ourselves are not so much sensitive and aware about things like these? So like you see people in the cars, I'm sorry, I'm elaborating a little bit, but this is how I see things going on here. So while we travel in vehicles, we could eat anything and then you will open the mirror and throw. I mean, no civic sense about like what I am doing. Going to a picnic spot, throwing the trash over there. So there are similarly concerns like these about which I, in my individual capacity, first have to be aware, and then I can like ask someone else to like help and take on the thing. So how do you see tackling with those things? I'm sorry if it was a very long question.
No, no, I completely resonate with what you're saying. And before I stepped out to preaching, which I was very, very clear that that I will not preach unless I have done it all myself. So more than 10, 15 years back, I started segregating waste when it was not such a common thing to do. Um, and it's a very simple act to do it. And it doesn't take anything. It just takes a little discipline and teaching every member in the house. It's that simple. And luckily in Kashmir, everybody has a piece of land where they grow their own vegetables. So it is as simple as that. I do it in my balcony because even the trash during the previous government's era, where you were segregating it, as soon as you took it down to the pickup vehicle, they would mix it. So I think it is best to first do it on your own. Once you pick it up, you'll always find like-minded people. But there are people in Kashmir who are aware, and there are people um, in the participant list uh, who have gone ahead and supported such activities through their personal funds. And it's about us, and hence the youth. Uh, you know, we are here to support each one of you in whatever capacity it is required, whether it is training, whether it is the simple act, whether it is the conversion into compost, all of that. But I think it has to now become a part of a dialogue before everything breaks down. It's on the verge of breakdown. In fact, a lot of it is already kind of broken down. The rivers and streams and lakes and pesticides and fruits and soil and cattle, everything. So I would encourage you to do it on your own in your house, and even within a month's time, you'll have sufficient confidence to talk about it. and then take it up. It is possible to take it up at neighborhood level, any level. There are enough case studies within this country, enough successful models where things have been transformed. So it can be transformed. हाँ, तो आमिर आप बताओ ना, आप कितना अच्छा काम कर रहे हो।
गुड
आप
आफ्टरनून।
बताओगे तो लोग इंस्पायर होंगे।
जी सर, बिल्कुल। अभी काम चल रहा है इस प्रोजेक्ट पे। हमारी सर, आपको पता होगा, ग्रुप में अपडेट्स आ रही है कंटिन्यूअसली। इसकी डॉक्यूमेंट्री भी चल रही है, तो अभी डॉक्यूमेंट्री का काम भी चल रहा है। और इस वीक से हम कल से या परसों से हम हैंड होल्डिंग भी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। एक्चुअली जो स्वच्छ भारत मिशन ग्रामीण के तहत जिन लोगों को कंपोस्ट पिट्स या सोकेज पिट्स मिले हैं, स्पेशली बोरवोर क्रालावारी में, तो हमने वो लिस्ट मंगाया है बीडीओ ऑफिस नागाम से, बीडीओ ऑफिस चावड़ा से। तो कल से हम सर उन हाउस होल्ड्स की हैंड होल्डिंग स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं।
So Amir and Shabir have documented every single house in all these 3 villages. They know कि कितना केजी और कितना ग्राम सॉलिड वेस्ट निकलता है,
बिल्कुल सर।
किस घर में से। एंड दे हैव आल्सो फाउंड आउट कि कौन लेने आता है, वो प्लास्टिक कितने रुपए में बिकता है, कहाँ जाता है। ऑल ऑफ इट इज ऑल डॉक्यूमेंटेड.
यस।
And there are drone images of the entire settlements. There are Excel sheets with all this data. It's a wonderful primary work, and at some point of time, we want to share it not just in Kashmir but across the whole country.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक
that काम आगे बढ़े. And with least amount of resources, we have a donor who supports Amir and this work, and from their own personal savings, and that is what we want to do. The idea is not, in Kashmir, anywhere, everywhere. The idea is what is it we can do. It's not big deal. Like someone, how do I pronounce your name?
Dana.
Durdana. Durdana, we were fundraising for a professional cyclist in Kashmir, and a class 12 girl raised 50,000 rupees. So imagine what the youth can do with their ED.
The post there was some time back, and I just thought of joining. I've been following you since long, on different portals and stuff. Yeah, though I'm not from Kashmir, but being there for GIM Pahalgaon, so there is this monitoring institute where I keep on going from time to time. So yeah, Kashmir is like a second home for me, being there, staying. So now this project that I was looking at, the things that you are doing for the summer school, of course, it's part of. I would like to be a part of it. Not from there in person, but yeah, whatever I can do from here.
Request that you share this, because people at the moment don't know what is it that's going on, but once they see what we're trying to do, it's very meaningful work, which will have impact on the valley for next 15-20 years. And we need to start today.